In a world wrought with struggle and strife, a world rich with beauty and grandeur, a world where peril lies around every corner, a world of casting and pony. One group steps up to share the perspective of the masses in this, the World of Warcraft. We are Conquest, the voice of the players.
You have crossed into the world of the dead in search of answers.
Welcome back. You are listening and or watching Pwnecast. This is episode 51, and we are in patch 6.1.2. That's still so surreal to say episode 51. That's not a lot, but I mean,
one more week.
That's kind of a big thing to me. I am your Warlock host, Belle. You guys have probably noticed that the white redhead over there is definitely not Frieza because they are opposites in every form or fashion.
I don't think they can steal your souls through the camera, so you guys should be okay.
Frieza has abandoned us this week, and he is actually attending his cousin's wedding in Texas. And we're really excited, though, because we've seen the pictures on Facebook, and it looks like he's having a blast, even though he has a terrible fear of flying. But he is with Elida, and they're having a good time. So we did have to bring in a ringer, so to speak, to fill the lonely box here to make sure that we had an even number of people on the show, because you guys know that I'm really weird and don't like unevenness. So I also did bring the Riders of Rohan with me. I brought the hunter who used Feign Death to avoid doing the dinner dishes, like
Absolutely loving my hunter. I am having a problem though. I had to go human. Just having that basically extra piece of gear using the racial is just it's too much. Was really just kicking ass last night in RBGs and loving it. It's so much fun.
So you're better than you. I didn't even know if it was possible to be any better, and you just take it to the next step.
See, look, like I said, this is what awesome is.
He stole that shirt from somebody, guys, because nobody would give him that. Or he stole that shirt from somebody. We're glad you're here. I did also bring the rogue who uses smoke bombs to cover up his bad hair day. He hots for shots. That was a reference to last week.
Oh my god, that was terrible. And no one even told me. Like, I make my camera super tiny, so I don't, like, stare at myself the entire time. You know, like, oh, is my hair alright? All this? Well, apparently I should have looked. And,
should have looked.
We let him go the whole show with this nice little thing that was happening in the front.
I thought it was a scene from something from Mary, or there's something about Mary, but I just kind of left it alone. So.
I'm not a real good friend. You guys, those of you that
Is
know
that
me,
Joe?
Those of you that know me know that I'm not a real good friend, obviously, because I let him go the whole show with that. But we're glad you're here.
Thanks. Yeah, it's awesome to be here. Can't wait to see what tonight brings.
Well, one can only imagine where things going to go because the fuckery that occurs on a weekly basis is amazing. I did also bring the paladin who inappropriately lays on hands, Dark.
Yeah. I figured everyone likes it. Apparently not.
Well, Frieza likes it. If he were here, he'd be like, now that's a party.
Yeah, right?
They have a bromance going on, and I'm not really invited into the bromance. Apparently, a bromance stands for bro, which is just boys and not girls. I was confused at bromance. I thought it meant something different, but apparently it doesn't. I'm just kidding.
Wait, I didn't realize you weren't a girl. You're one of the guys.
I know, I really am one of the guys. My brother says that I have a member bigger than anybody else's he's ever met. I don't really know what that means, but I'm assuming it means it's really large, which is awesome. Dump truck, ladies and gentlemen, dump truck. That's all I'm going to say. Moving on very, very quickly.
And not Tonka.
No, not Tonka for sure. Wow, that was a good one. I did need to make sure you prefaced that for me. Thank you, because that would have been awful. I'm sure somebody would have commented about that. So this week, you know, we have a lot of topics to cover. There isn't anything news outside of we can dive into the WoW token talk because I'm sure that's going to take quite a bit of time. So WoW token was launched. You guys have had a chance to see the way that it's kind of working in the auction house. For those of you that aren't playing WoW right now and just listen, the price fluctuates. And I just want to go a little bit into some more information on how they actually work because there is a little bit of confusion, and then we can all talk about the way that we've seen it this week. So what happens is it's a first in, first out basis. So you've bought your token with your $20, which it ends up being $21.16 or something like that. You go to put it in the auction house. It'll tell you right there where it's going for. You put it in. They automatically handle it for you. You don't get to set the price. The price is based off how many are actually in the auction house at that time. So if there's more of an influx of them in the auction house, that will automatically lower the price. They have a nice little algorithm. WowToken.info actually will track the daily price, or you can just log in, go right to your auction house, look at game time, you'll see exactly what it's going for. So what's happened is people are assuming that when it gets put in there that it's just whenever somebody buys it. That's not what happens, because when you go to purchase the game time, you don't get to see the person you're buying it from, because it just goes in a little pool and it sits there. So it basically works on a first in, first out. People that put them in there first, it gets put in queue to get sold and picked up by the next one. I did mine the very first day. Bought one, process was easy, went and put it in the auction house. It sold for $30K within 2 hours. So I think they're telling people 2 to 12 hours is the average wait time on that. Now, what I want to tell you guys is make sure that you check the price of a token and what it's going for in the auction house before you actually go buy one. Wait till it's 26, 27K. I don't know that it's ever going to be 30K again, to be honest, because it's now a place for people to make gold. So make sure that you check the auction house before you actually put it in there to make sure you're maximizing your profit. And it'll change from within hours. This morning I checked and it was at 22K. I logged back in a few minutes ago and it was at 24K. So just make sure, those of you that are buying them, watch the auction house for when they're really cheap. Buy a ton of them. Boom, it's an easy win. So with that out of the way, who here has experienced the token, or did you buy one?
I did. I had to just check it out. I wanted to get for one of the first ones out because I knew the price was going to drop immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And it does go off of supply and demand. If there's a huge amount of tokens sitting in the pool and there's not that many people buying them, of course you're not going to sell. The price is going to be low. Once the newness of it drops off, that as people go along further, start buying them, and people either A, the kids start running out of money, or B, people just stop buying them, you'll see that price go up. I see it going up between 35 to 40K, my opinion, in the next 6 months.
The kids don't have any allowance anymore, so they can't.
Right.
They can't
Right.
go buy. And
Once they
Fox
work
is being
through their
attacked by
allowance,
his killer cat Scott. That's awkward.
Wow.
Pull your
I-
mic away. It's your have your break.
I don't think it's a. I think right now, because there's just an overabundance of it, because it's so new and everybody wants to make the gold. I think once that dies down, it'll be fun.
And I think, everybody, people are complaining, people are happy. There's always an equal amount of things. I haven't seen it negatively affect anything outside of it does stimulate commerce, I've noticed, because I did sell one. I did have an extra 30K to go blow, to which I went and spent, I'm not even going to tell you what I spent. I'll talk to you about that during Belle's Bites for my Transmog for my level 68. I'm not even going to talk about it, but it does stimulate the economy, because now the people that didn't normally have an influx of gold now have a means to be able to have that extra cash and can go and buy mounts. And this means that the people that are crafting things like the expensive craftable mounts that you can still make and sell and things like that, I think this stimulates kind of people from all aspects. It's a little shitty for the people that are spending their money to put them in the auction house, because they're kind of getting the crappy end of the stick as far as what it's actually worth. But it's no different than what you would do when you're making stuff to put in the auction house. Not everything you put in there goes, you can make a mount that's worth 40K, and at the end of your month of trying to sell that shit, you finally put it down for 20. So it's no different, and I just want to stress, it's no different than when you're working the auction house as somebody that sells things. You put something in there with the high hopes of it being, and then after weeks of not being able to sell it, you end up dropping the price anyway. This is really no different. Yes, you're spending your hard-earned money, but if you're already going out on a limb to buy tokens with cash so that you can make gold, obviously you already have the money to be able to do so, so stop crying about it. It's only $20, and you're getting in-game gold. So that's my take on it. Hots, I know you've been twitching it up with your Twitch people.
Yeah.
Have you gotten any talks about that on Twitch, or?
Nope.
No?
No one's staying away. Like, everyone's staying away from the subject. I think
People
a lot of people are
afraid. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so many people are afraid that it's gonna be the end of the game. But I think we figured out what kills all other MMOs and why WoW is still alive. But I'll talk about that later.
I think that's a gear-related issue. I think I understand why people panic, because this unfortunately does pave the way, and this could be a testing system. Somebody brought it up, and it was probably Tysaurus, who is in the guild. I think he was talking about that this could pave the way for other services being purchased with gold, character transfers, things of that nature. Can I tell you, as somebody who's sitting here wanting to boost her monk because she doesn't want to level it, I would love to be able to buy gold to boost. I'm not saying that's happening, not saying that's a thing. As long as they stay away from gear and things like that, that was probably where you were going with that, Hots, because there are a lot of there's a lot of games that do allow you to buy things like that, and I have to agree. I think
Pay to wins.
Yeah, I think you just need to keep it in your little box, and if you allow me to buy a character boost with a token or with gold, happy girl, don't mind. So
that'd be a lot of gold if you think about it.
Yeah, I mean,
well, at the current price, I mean, if you're going to look at character boost, you're looking at 60,000 gold.
Agree. Well,
which is not bad. $60, 60,000 gold.
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think Tysaurus was right when I think he talked about it on Facebook. I think that's actually probably pretty accurate. A couple of questions had arose also because if your account is inactive and you go to log in, here's what happens. It does pop up a little box that says, "Oh, your account is inactive. You're broke. Would you like to use your WoW gold?" What it says that it does is it spits your money evenly, so it takes from all of your tunes, an equal amount of whatever the current price of the token is, so you don't have to have an active account to be able to purchase the account. Blizzard has made sure that the money goes where it needs to go, and they're going to get your money no matter what. So they did make sure that you can log in on an inactive account and you can actually buy the token from your login screen. To be able to reactivate your account. I do know that there's issues with it. Tysaurus is actually one of them. It's had some issues. He said it, bought it, took the money out, told him he only had 1 day left. Poor guy. He has no token and he has no gold because they took the gold that was the price of that. So just be leery. It's still new to them, but you don't have to be active. So if you're looking to become active again and you don't have real life funds to pay for that, go log in and buy yourself a token. They take the amount evenly over all of your tunes. So I don't even know how that's possible. If I have a tune that has 5 gold on them, I don't know what that means, but
you're gonna log in and you're gonna have 2.5.
I know. I'm gonna have 14 silver left on the one tune. Conquest cap. Funny, when this happened, we all thought it was a glitch. So here's what happens. This happens, I get my phone's blowing up with text messages. Go check out your conquest cap. We all need to get on now. And I'm in the middle of my workday. We need to get on now. We need to cap before they notice that it's a glitch. Well, after a couple hours, I'm thinking, this can't be a glitch. There's no way that this is a glitch. Find on the forums that it is, in fact, as intended. So if you've logged in and you've noticed your conquest cap is large on most of your tunes, what they've done is they've done a 50% increase to the catch-up, just the catch-up portion for the weekly caps for conquest points. Basically, here's the formula breakdown. Number of weeks passed times the season, which we're in 19. I think this next coming week is the 19th week of this season. Either 18th or 19th. I'm pretty sure it's 19th. They multiply that by 1,500, and then they minus the total amount of conquest that you've already earned this season. They take that number and they add it to the 1,700 standard weekly cap. So if you found that on some tunes you had more of a cap than others, that's the reason. If some tunes you play a lot of PvP, so naturally you've got a lot of conquest, you'll find that. If you're like me, you didn't start PvPing until later into the season, this allowed me to actually become full conquest geared within a matter of 2 days, so it's pretty awesome. Also, if you have alts that you don't PvP at all and you're considering doing them and they're already maxed out, go take advantage, because an untouched alt that has not acquired any conquest is going to be 28,700 is going to be what the cap is. So you're talking a couple days and you're fully conquest geared. Now, they talked about the reason for this being because they wanted to make it easier for you to gear some alts. They wanted, whatever the case may be. Theorists are saying it's probably because the end of the season is coming, so they want everybody to get their last minute, all their PvP stuff, try to push for some achievements and things that you're doing. And if you did not see these changes reflected on your tune, Blizzard has acknowledged that this is an issue and it'll be fixed on Tuesday. So for next reset, make sure you check your conquest if you didn't see it, because I believe Dark didn't see any conquest. He was like, seriously, I'm the only one in game that did not get a conquest.
No, I got my conquest bumped up by 70.
Well,
Yeah. I think
meanwhile,
was
I
around
got
that-
9K, so he's like, what the hell? Same with Vegas. Vegas got no increase, and he's like, I don't understand. So if you did see this problem, just know that they did say that it's fixed, and it will reflect on Tuesday. They were giving people the option this week, actually, of being able to submit a ticket and have them push that early to your tune if that was something you were interested in. So that kind of tells me even more that the season is coming to an end. Why would they actually open? You don't think so? Why would they openly invite people to send them a ticket?
Because they're not. Well, one, that's a weekly thing. That's like back in the day, if your conquest or if your valor points got messed up and you're trying to do the 3K valor thing and you can only gain 200 and you
Oh,
have
yeah,
to
that makes sense.
hit 1,000. So like that's something that's pretty big in the PvP world, and you have to have that.
We're 19 weeks
progress.
in, and you really don't think that the season's coming soon?
Nope.
Well, I know
Everyone's saying by,
they will
like,
not
summertime.
introduce a
Well-
new season until 6.2.
I agree with that. I do agree with that because I'm pretty sure they're kind of focused on the PvE aspect of stuff right now. As far as I'm sure that there's going to be a new tier
Can I be a
coming
troll?
at some point.
Can I be a troll?
No.
Are they gonna do flying in 6.2?
Oh God. I read this
Shut
thing.
your face.
I read this thing in one of the groups I'm in, and this guy's like, I wrote this on the forums. It's a really nasty message. So the gist of the message is, I'm not paying another day for this game until you give me back my flying that I've earned. Listen, who cares? I forget that I can even fly, and it doesn't even affect me. It does not bother me. I go into
That sounds like a
Stormwind, and I'm
Stormwind.
still just not flying, and I'm like, oh, wait, I can fly here. It doesn't affect me that much. When you've been playing, nobody cares
Sorry.
whether or not you can fly. Yes, it will make things easier. Yes, it will make things better. I like that there's a part of Shadow Moon Valley that I can't get to because I don't know how to get up the mountain or around it or in it. So that's going to be something in a year from now when we do have flying, I'll be able to explore, just like in Missa Pandaria. There was stuff you could not get to unless you had flying, and it's lovely. So,
You heard it here first.
Well, there
Don't
is
complain,
one
there's no
benefit.
flying in Draenor.
well,
There is one benefit from one of the garrison buildings, and that's the engineering one.
oh, the
Uh,
fighter.
Yeah, it
That
gives you like
isn't
two
it.
things that shoot you up in the air and you glide forever, and there's another one that
There's
a
an
rocket
end
that
quest
actually
that does
flies
that.
you.
the rocket. Yeah, it goes
Yeah.
forever.
There's an end quest that gives you a feather that you can have forever.
All right, sorry. I didn't mean to derail the conversation,
Really?
but I just wanted to be a troll.
Yeah.
Hold on, you
It
said
does-
there's a feather?
Yeah.
I don't like
Yeah.
those inquests because I forget that I get them.
That's your fault.
And
to be
then I
honest.
don't do that.
Oh, is it like
Wait.
the statue on Timeless Isle?
Yeah, it just shoots you straight up in the air and then lets you slow it down.
Oh.
So
I did
you,
an
like,
achievement.
that's how I get the.
Yeah, there was an achievement where you had to carry the one ember down the mountain without it getting to a certain point, and you get the achievement up in Frostfire Ridge, and that's how I did it. I used a feather and floated it right down, and boom, won. But if it requires any type of grinding or any type of work, Belle's not going to do it.
Now, I don't say work. There's just certain things that I'm not willing to grind for. Reputation is one of them. I don't want to grind for reputation.
One dungeon.
Can reputation cuddle me at night? No, it can't. Reputation doesn't do anything for me, so...
Technically, it
Well,
can.
what is your reputation with dark?
Reputation with a boyfriend.
Right.
Oh, just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Or a husband.
This
in
is why
case.
business and personal
Well,
should
you
never
you,
mix,
you
but-
technically have to gain a reputation with the person you cuddle with to get to the cuddling. So the reputation thing is
Have
kind
you
of
met
not.
females today? Because that's actually not an accurate.
Yeah, none of them can
You don't
cook.
need any kind of reputation with a female to be able to cuddle with her. Most women give it up for free. With that being said, now that I just insulted a lot of women,
Wow.
move on very, very quickly.
So did I.
So a lot of talk in the community over this 5-man group. I don't know how to pronounce the name. Keef. I think it's Keef and friends. So this is a 5-man group that are running around ripping through Blackrock Foundry and Highmaul.
Making everybody look bad.
They went through normal and they have cleared. They've cleared Highmaul. So this is. There's videos that they have, but I think it's Kiev. Kiev and friends. They're Swedish players from the EU. Most of them are in a guild called. They're in a guild called Good Games. Some of them are not. Some of them are not in that guild. And they're on Frostmane. So they have 2 different comps that they ran. They are 7 of 7 heroic Highmaul. 5-man group, guys. 5 men.
5 man.
And they are 3 of 7 as of 22 hours ago for heroic Blackrock Foundry. It could have changed, but as of 22 hours ago, which was the last communication I see from them on Reddit, was that. So Okay, I know what you guys are thinking. Well, obviously they're mythic geared. Well, of course they're mythic geared because no person in their sane, sound mind would step into anything on any heroic level in a 5-man that's a raid. These guys change up their comp. For Blackrock Foundry, they did a Holy Paladin, Blood DK, Sub Rogue, Beast Mastery, and Arcane Mage. For Highmaul, they swapped out the Rogue for the Shadow Priest. Don't know if maybe there was a comp. I haven't done much Blackrock Foundry, so maybe there's a comp thing. So these guys, 5-man, 42 pulls on Blackhand, by the way, because they do a pull time. They both do a pull count when they post their videos. 42 pulls is what it took them to finally.
You know what's sad though? Most people who are on heroic Blackhand are going to do 42 pulls with 20 people in the
posted
guild.
the video in our guild Facebook and said, "Listen, guys, there's 16 of us, and we are having problems with a couple bosses in Heroic Highmaul. It is what it is. We're not professionals, but we're going to be there one day." But I'm like, seriously, these guys 5-man this shit. I understand they're mythic, but they 5-manned it. So in reading, I realized that they're getting a lot of slack. There's been a lot of people that are like, "Oh, we don't even care because you've outgeared it." 5 men geared is not outgearing a heroic Blackrock Foundry. I just need to make sure that I'm very clear for you naysayers that have something negative to say because you feel like they're showboating. I feel like basically what the gentleman had said is he said, we just wanted to know if we could do it. This wasn't about having something to prove. We didn't do this to set out for glory. We wanted to know if 5 people could take this on. We wanted to know if we could do it as a team, and they did. 5 of these, 5, one healer. One healer, obviously there's only 5 of them, so you don't need all the healers, but 5 people. How? What kind of DPS do you have to be pulling, HOTS, for this to even be feasible? Break down heroic. Normal, break down heroic.
Alright, so for heroic Highmaul, not too terribly much. Maybe 30 to 40. Ooh, no. 30 to 40k per.
For each of them to beat in rage timers on certain bosses?
Yeah.
Each of them would be replacing
50 or 60.
3 regular DPS, so they'd have to have that high DPS.
So 30 would probably be a minimum?
30 bare minimum. Like, bare minimum, and another DPS is pulling more. Like, I see they had the mage. That right there is probably carrying the sub-rogue. The sub-rogue is probably only there for mechanics. Well, the sub-rogue does really good damage, don't get me wrong. But there's other classes that will pull more damage, but he has Smoke Bomb, he has CCs and shit, stuff like that. So that'll end up helping that out a lot more.
What's the minimum you can walk into Highmaul, Heroic, or Blackrock? Is it 8 or 9?
10.
Is it? I thought it was lower than that.
No.
But still, but still, they're still pulling for 5 other DPS or 4 other DPS a healer.
They have their rotations down. They have mechanics down for minimal movement.
Well, they're mythic. I would expect it. The guild, the good game guild that the guy that heads this up, and a lot of the guys that they swap out or whatever they are from the guild, but there's a few stragglers, one or two of each that are not in the guild. But his guild's mythic because they're all mythic full geared. They're not partially mythic geared. Like every piece on them is mythic. I went through each of their armories earlier today doing research about these guys because I wanted to find out, what gear sets, what things were needed for this to even be a thing. And I think this is the part where I think it separates those that are really doing something in the game versus those that get notoriety for doing nothing in the game but sitting around doing arenas all day. And that's not a shot at the streamers. I'm just saying that these guys really did something. They did something that they shot for a goal. They did it as a team. They proved that they could step outside of the box that Blizzard sets for them as far as what's minimum required. Now, of course, now we have DKs that are soloing Heroic Garrosh and soloing Mythic Garrosh or whatever in the hell they want to solo. Now these things, because it's not current content. These guys are doing this in current content. As we speak, my guild is completing Heroic hopefully this weekend or next weekend, and we will begin the whole Mythic grind. These guys did it with 5 people.
I want to point out, the DK soloing Garrosh was at the end of MOP.
Nobody cares.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. But even more so, this
I'm just saying.
Blackrock Foundry, even though a lot of people have cleared it already, it's still new because a lot of guilds haven't stepped into Foundry yet. So it's still. These guys.
No, it's extremely impressive, and the people. There's always going to be haters, but you have to give those guys their dues. Like,
The resolve that these guys
Most
have.
of the bosses, as a tank, most of the bosses do some type of stacking debuff or some type of mechanics.
That's where I
I
was
couldn't
going with it.
imagine, I know Gruul, that debuff that Gruul puts on you is pretty hard
They
after
got
it
him
starts
down a
hitting
couple
for
days
while.
ago on Heroic. They sure the hell did. I don't even know. It boggles the mind, but we wanted to give them shout outs and props. And to all of you naysayers who are being dicks about it, seriously, give the guys their due. These guys aren't just sitting around asking you for money to support their Twitch channel. They're really doing something because they're pushing the boundaries of what gaming is, and they're testing their limits as gamers. They're testing Blizzard's limits. I mean, they're really doing something that kind of deserves to be mentioned, and I think it's pretty awesome.
and to all you PvPers out there, also, I'm going to say what we're all thinking right now. I wonder how good they are in 5.
Nobody cares about your fives.
Oh,
I mean,
we do.
but
Fives aren't even a thing.
I can't even get people run fives in my own guild.
The mobile chat for the armory, although they have not updated the mobile armory by my count, was July of 2014 was the last time an update was pushed to my phone. They did fix the issue where what was happening is you would try to message somebody that was mobile and it wouldn't go to them. It would tell you that they weren't online. And typically what happens with that is you'll still get the message on your phone. It'll just, you have to click in to go get the message and then respond to them. If you're logged into game and you log back into your mobile armory, whatever's happening in game on your whispers will also show up in your phone randomly because it happens to me all the time. They did push a fix, not to the mobile side, but to their side that was hindering people on their mobile chat being able to communicate back and forth with either their guild or via whispers. They did fix that. So if that was an issue for you, that's all taken care of.
It was for me when you would whisper me, and I can't whisper back.
Aw, trying to whisper sweet nothings.
No,
to
I
death.
whisper
No,
when
she's like, when are you going to bed?
because
Take that
I'm like,
shit to
it's
Moonguard.
4 in the morning and he has a full day at work tomorrow and I have work and I'm like, why are you? I'm being responsible laying in bed and you're not. You're doing twos, seriously.
See, this is why my wife doesn't play. I can't get in that
we
conversation with her.
separate.
Cody knew that was him.
Hots. We separate that. We separate that pretty well. The gaming and personal. So that's pretty much it for the news. I was going to talk about some other stuff, but we're kind of getting over on time because some of those topics were a little bit lengthy. So I know that Lycan
Yes.
has a lore piece. You guys
Yes.
asked where it was at. He did take a little bit of a break because we did have other things going on, and he was kind of time sucked. And he's redoing his house and all this other weird stuff. But he does have a piece. What's your subject this week?
As you can tell, my background is different for the next couple of weeks. Actually, we're going to go into trolls, and there's really not much I want to go in real in depth on this right now. But the neat thing about the trolls is they are such a diverse group. We have, at least 8 or 9 known tribes, all of them having some type of background that, if you look at them in a whole, and you ever try to tell one troll to another tribe troll that they're all the same, they'd probably kill you for even thinking about it. But it's neat that, the way Blizzard has really wrapped themselves into this entire race that goes throughout everywhere in Azeroth. No other race is known for that. You don't have the orcs that are showing up everywhere. You don't have the humans with such a big group. I mean, as big as they are, they're not in Kalimdor. They're not known to be in there. There are some in there, don't get me wrong, with Theramore and stuff like that. But, you can't trace their origins back. You've got Forest Trolls, you've got Zandalari Trolls, you've got Gurabashi and Bloodscalp, Skull Splitter, Darkspear. And it's neat where they came from. Now, not much is known from their complete origins from them. Some say that they originated from the Night Elves. Others say that the Night Elves and High Elves actually originated from the Trolls. And there is a third group out there, a third belief out there, is that they all originated from some lost race that was out there. Sort of like where the humans have their backgrounds with the, what's the name of them up in Northrend, but they have a shared background, and there's not too much known about their complete history. They did come around about 15,000, right around 15,000 years ago. So, yeah, the Vikrols, thank you. So, I mean, they are probably one of the oldest, if not the oldest race right now in Azeroth. You can draw that, 15,000 years is a long time. This is way before the Highborn even tried to summon the Burning Legion into Azeroth. But they had they controlled much of Kalimdor and what is now the Eastern Kingdoms, and every race that has ever stepped foot into either continent has really had to focus a lot of their military know-how against them because they're such a big group. So I am going to do a real big write-up on the Podcast Daily Quest. I apologize that I've not been doing lore as much as I have been in the past, but I have gotten emails and those messages have been received, and I am going to start going into them really in depth. So definitely take a look at the Podcast Daily Quest. You'll be seeing a big write-up on the trolls there, and I am going to start going into the races on there, and I will start focusing on some more obscure lore pieces that people really want to know about. If you have anything you want to know on lore, please email me, like at Pwnecast.net. Pwnecast.net? Yeah. And
You didn't even tell us a story. I was waiting for
I
this
know.
story.
I didn't have a good story for them, though. I mean, you can go into the stories about how the orcs and the trolls came to be. A lot of times, if you look at the trolls, if it wasn't for the trolls, you would not have an orc know-how in Kalimdor. They really bonded together. It was the trolls that helped Thrall or actually Orgrim Doomhammer, and helped him get a stronghold on Kalimdor, and they saved them from the humans, and that is why they were such close family. You see the trolls now as you have Vol'jin now sitting as the war chief.
I feel like they're very valiant creatures. Like people always. I mean, I know I'm not a horde liker, but I mean,
they can't.
I feel like you get a combination of some wise there. There's some very wise, and then there's some like badass kind of in the mix. It's like a nerd meets Arnold Schwarzenegger. They are known
for their voodoo.
Is that not an accurate description of a troll?
No, they're known for their voodoo. They're known for their treachery.
I'm totally kidding.
And they're known for their cannibalism.
What's a little cannibalism among friends? I mean, if we were stranded...
Closer,
so they dine with the undead.
Oh, yeah.
If we were stranded and it was just us, listen, the first one of you to die would be the person I would eat, and I wouldn't even mind. Because that's life, the nature of survival.
There would be no point in killing me because I don't have that much meat on me.
They're not.
Me and Hops are good to go.
They're not cannibalizing for food. They have plenty of food. These forest trolls may have plenty of food. They're cannibalizing to cannibalize.
One of my favorite people is Hannibal Lecter, so I can't even really talk. I can't.
Right.
There's nothing I could say to defend them because to say anything ill because I think that's kind of cool.
And most cannibalistic tribes, even in real life, as humans, that there have been cannibalistic tribes and still are. They believe that eating their enemies gives them their power.
Well, Hannibal ate the Rood, so that makes perfect sense. I mean, he could eat the Rood, so.
In the Dark Spear, for those who are rolling a troll right now, maybe RPing as a troll, and say, "Oh no, we don't cannibalize." Yes, you do.
You ate your sister yesterday, brah. Yeah, seriously.
They don't do it now is because the Horde forbids it. The orcs were completely, appalled by the cannibalism, and they said, "Look, if you're going to be part of the Horde, you will not cannibalize. You will stop this practice right away." And that is the only reason that the Dark Spirit don't do it right now. So all you RPers out there say, "Oh no, we don't cannibalize." Oh yes, you do.
What?
Yeah.
Why does the undead get away with it?
Yeah, I was gonna say what?
That's messed
up.
up.
Well, they're undead.
That's racist.
They live off that shit for going by traditional zombie standards, such as the industry has set forth with movies. Traditionally, they had to eat living flesh in order to be able to continue to have their movement because they needed the living flesh to continue to make their dead cells reanimate, correct? Right. Am I right about this on a scientific? I say scientific because
it means Resident Evil.
Right, I know. I am a huge Resident Evil junkie, but
the undead aren't eating undead. They're eating the living.
Right. They're not eating each other. I don't want to eat it.
So the trolls could eat other dudes as long as they're not trolls. I got you.
No.
Right. Oh, yeah. I mean, they could eat, that's fine. It was the practice of trolls eating other trolls.
I wonder if they would ever eat Anduin, because he's kind of a sissy anyway.
I agree with that.
He would be the first one to go, in my opinion. If this was a Walking Dead situation, Anduin would be the first one dead.
They'd be looking at him and look, "Oh, that looks like veal."
It's a baby lamb chop. That might be inappropriate. Well, I did mention to you, like in last week, after getting quite a few emails over the last couple of weeks requesting the lore section to come back, he is now in a position to where
Yes.
Next week he will start having the fun, in-depth, interesting
Yeah.
ones available for you guys.
After the floor's done.
So after the floor in his
Floor's
house.
done. The walls are done. I just got to move all my stuff back in there. And I apologize. I know personal life, this is something totally different that I should have had this done. I should have been a lot more in-depth on a lot of times that I've done in the past, though. But we are going to start getting into it real in-depth. We're going to start pulling. I'm going to keep doing the back-and-forth races between the Horde and the Alliance that I've been doing. I've got the humans and the orcs, or the orcs done. And I want to keep doing that back-and-forth on the puncastdailyquest.com. It's a nice little website. If you haven't looked at it, go at it.
I don't really enjoy reading, right? But that's stuff that you write.
That's my-
It's intriguing, and Bloke is like your hugest damn fan when it comes
Oh, yeah.
to lore.
That's my life partner. That's my partner for life that doesn't read.
Yeah.
It's an interesting marriage that we have.
I didn't say I can't read. I just said I don't read.
He has a book.
Healing.com.
He has a book that was on his nightstand when
No, I bought The Art of War. I've always wanted to read
he's
this
never
book.
read it, and he's had
I
it for
read the
20 years.
introduction, and I got bored.
The same book is in his nightstand drawer, and he's had it there for at least 7 years now. So
it makes me look cool now. So,
it doesn't.
You know.
It's an embarrassment of the
I
fact that my
keep it.
husband doesn't know how to read. I mean, it's embarrassing.
Oh my god.
Anyway, moving on. So,
Something fun I did this week?
huh?
Can I tell everybody what I did fun this week?
We're gonna do the weekend wow right after I do Belle's Bites, actually.
Okay, good stuff.
So for
I'm so
Belle's
excited.
Bites, I wanted to talk to you guys about transmogging, and the only reason I wanted to talk about this is so today I have a level 68 Mistweaver monk that I'm leveling for PvP. It's not about transmogging like you're thinking, Hot, so knock it off. I'm on Skype with a friend, and I'm doing stuff in the auction house, and I'm transmogging my heirloom gear because I can't not match, right? Even though some of the heirloom stuff matches, I looked like I had bird feathers. There was all kinds of weird stuff, and she's a little gnome. So what I'm really looking for is a huge giant hammer, because I think it's going to be really funny if you have this little tiny gnome and you have a giant mace, right? To me, that says something pretty funny. So that's what I was looking for. So in doing all of these things, what I realized is that transmogging is an obsession for some people. Now, a lot of you guys have heard me talk on the show about how I won't raid. If I get a piece and I put it on in a raid, somebody will have to pop their transmog mount, because I will refuse to pull the boss unless I am in a matching set and everything looks kosher. I won't do it. So as I'm spending, I find this hammer, which I don't find it. Brutum actually found the hammer for me. She's like, oh, but it's 10k gold. Bot. Literally, like
10k gold.
10k for this hammer, right? So I do this, and then I find a really nice cape that I like. That was really cheap. That was like 19 gold. Then I find a pair of gloves. That was really cheap. Then I find this nice little kilt, right? Nice little kilt. That was relatively inexpensive. Then I find this really cool, chest piece, and that 5k. Then there's a belt, and the belt's 2k. So at the end of this situation, I'm sitting here on a monk that's not even 100, and I'm very proud of myself. I have all my stuffs on. I'm very, very happy with the way that things are turning out. I can't use the hammer yet because she has to be 71 for me to be able to use it. But I'm realizing that I have a problem. I literally spent almost 20k in the auction house in 2 seconds because everything had to match transmog-wise. And I wanted to talk about this as a subject. Now, a lot of people will say, oh, transmogs don't matter. I don't care if I match. No, everybody cares that they match, because one of the standing conversations in the guild is, I'm going on a transmog run, looking for this transmog, farming this transmog, need money to buy this transmog. So this prompted me to go into I have the trade skill add-on to find out where my expenditures come from. And it actually has a really neat accounting module that tells you when you're purchasing things in the auction house, it breaks them down by type of what you purchase. I have had that since December. So I've had that specific add-on since December. From December until this morning,
Oh no.
I have spent, are you ready?
Oh yeah.
84,000 gold
Good lord.
on transmog items. 84,000 gold.
I'm
and
hanging
I'm
up
not
Skype.
even kidding you. So for Belle Spites, what I wanted to talk about is I wanted to talk about this transmog thing because I thought it was something that was interesting. He
I'm done.
just got up and walked away. That was really good. Listen, 80. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. I know that might seem a little ridiculous. Certainly, I'm not the only one that goes to the auction house. Now, keep in mind, that just wasn't for one tune. Well, that's a lie. Most of it was probably for the Warlock. I won't lie about that. But
Well, she has side boobs, so we're good.
oh, she has epic side boob. It really is you can't even buy that these days, you know? I tried to get side boob on the gnome. She just has little...
That's not natural.
She's got little bee stings. Doesn't really... You can't really side boob that, to be perfectly honest. But, I mean, I tried. Certainly, I'm not the only one with this transmog problem. So this is what I wanted to bring to the listeners and the viewers. How important is transmogging to you? Don't be negative and don't comment mean things to me and don't email me mean things about spending all my money that I earned and that I made on transmogs. Some of you might say that's a little ridiculous, but sometimes you might want to switch it up. I want to know, how often do you guys change up your transmogs? How often do you guys go and farm for a new transmog? I am the type of person that will... If I decide I want to change my hair color, I will change my entire transmog to match my hair color, and vice versa. Certainly, I'm not the only one. Come on, guys.
Here's what's funny is that, first of all, I got on my hunter the other day, and I changed him to human, and I looked at his outfit, and I went, this looked really awesome as a Worgen. Yeah, this ain't going to work. So I had to change it all back. And what's really funny is Dark has nothing to say, because this is the man who said, oh, I can't believe you're doing that for transmog, And I took him into Firelands to help him with his quest for his embers and stuff like that, and as we're in, he goes, oh wow, that would look awesome on my pally. Oh wow, look at this will look awesome on my mate. Yeah, he's into transmog as much as everybody else, but you're right, people will deny it, but how many times do you actually do transmog runs because you hate the way an outfit looks?
Well,
guys and girls.
I'll agree. No, I'll agree with it, but here's the reason I like the transmog, right? When you go into an arena and there's another paladin that you're fighting, and you two look alike, it pisses you off. And then I
my
thought,
God, you wore the same thing.
right?
Yeah.
No, I thought I got clever. I used, it's not the Maraude hammer, but it's the other purple one. I was like, nobody's going to have this. Ryza brought me over to Darkspear, and a warrior had two of them transmogged.
Nice.
I was like, hold on, I'll be back. I'm going to my garrison. Change weapon. It's annoying when someone has your transmog.
And my reason for bringing that up and for making sure that I'm not the only one, and I realize that you guys are all probably still a little shocked over the number that I just gave you regarding my transmog purchase. My reason for bringing that up is it isn't gender specific. It isn't because for any other reason other than our characters mimic our real life in similar aspects, and one of those aspects being vanity. Humans are very, very, very vain by nature, and I think that's part of what makes us interesting people, because I do think on some aspects, certain parts of vanity will drive you to be better. They will drive you to be more successful. They'll drive you to want to get straight A's because of that vanity, or that whatever you want to call it. But a lot of good things stem from humanistic vanity, and not the over, like, confident douchebag vanity, but I mean, yeah, but
you're right, because on my DK, I have the Tusks of Manaroth. I've got Gorehowl. I've got all this brown different plate sets to match it, and it's not a complete set. So it's not like I had to go out and farm one set and I was done. Right. I had to pick these little pieces up. I was walking around with my engineering goggles. I was in Blackrock Temple, and that mask dropped, and I have that on now. But you're right. When I get on my DK, I don't feel badass because I'm on my DK. I look badass.
Mm-hmm.
And that's part of, we mimic, as much as you want to try to be something totally different when you step into a game like this that's all fantasy based, where you get to kind of be something different. I thought this was an interesting correlation between our real life selves and our game selves, and I found it to be quite funny, because what's really interesting to me is, although my vanity in game is unreal, my warlock has to look her best. She does not step outside of that garrison unless her shoes are shined and her clothes are I mean, she looks her best no matter where she goes. And I'm not really like that in real life. I don't look like $1,000,000 24 hours a day, and I thought that was even more interesting because I seem to be more concerned with how my warlock looks when she's standing in Storm Shield than I am anything else. So much so that I won't leave my house, which is the garrison, unless I'm properly matched, and unless everything has to match her bone structure, it has to fall off her hips just so. Everything has to look really nice, and I thought that this was a nice way to say how we are as humans and how much joy we get out of making ourselves individuals in game, and how we kind of look at it that, oh, that guy has an awesome transmog. Let me hunt him down and let me ask him where he got his transmog. I'm going to rant about this real quick, and then I'm going to be done with that. When you go out of your way to ask somebody where you got that transmog, I'm not going to tell you where I got the transmog because I don't want you to look like me. So if you ask me where I got my transmog and I tell you none of your business, I'm not being a bitch. I don't want you to look like me because I enjoy being what little individual I can be, because unfortunately limited with the faces, limited with the hair, limited with all of these things. Why would I want people to run around and have what I have when I worked really hard for it? Mm-hmm. Hold on, there's a second part to this rant. Stop asking me if I like your tier set transmog. Stop asking me if I like that you ran one dungeon or old school raid and you got an entire tier set. Stop asking me if I like it. Or rate my Mog on those Facebook groups. What do you think of my Mog? Great, you're just like everybody else that has that tier set.
Cool, you bought that from the vendor too.
Right, so what's good for me about transmogs, I'm not talking about whole sets here. I'm talking about putting pieces and parts together. I have my pieces, it's not a full set. It looks like it's a full set, but I pulled from different aspects. I have my waist is different, my wrists are different, my shoulders are different than some of the other parts. It's not a full, only 2 pieces technically are of that set. Stop going to people and asking them to rate your average transmog that everybody has. Step outside of your box. Be a little bit creative. Put something together that you might not think goes together. Really, anybody can go and farm a tier set. And I'm not knocking anybody that has those. They're lovely. The Warlock tier 6 set is one of my favorite sets because you have wings. But stop asking people to give you props and attaboys and high fives in the air because you look like the guy standing next to you who was just in that same run who got all the same bullshit you did. So be a little bit creative in what your style is. If you're rocking a tier set, rock it, but don't ask me to rate it because I'm going to tell you the same thing I told the same guy that just asked me. Great. Thumbs up. What were you going to say, Hots? You were going to make fun of me.
No, I'm not actually going to make fun of you. Remember earlier in the show, I was like, I have something I'm going to talk about, like what kills other MMOs, but while still standing. Uh-huh. I was talking with it me, Weenie, and a few people from Writers, and we're all talking about, like, just sitting around. We're like, man, I really wish they would introduce dyes so we can have individual pieces of gear, and each one have individual colors and this, that, the other. But
they can do it.
But I've deducted that that's what kills MMOs, and that's why WoW's still standing.
Why?
It's a joke. But if you think about it, every other MMO has introduced dyes. Rift, Wildstar, Guild Wars, every single one of them. And they're to the wayside.
No. See, that is not what it is. But Diablo 3, though, has the dye system already built into the game. They already have technology built into their systems. Why not transfer? That would be awesome.
I would love it. And that was a troll, by the way. Like, I know that one particular aspect.
We've theorized about that before, that it would be nice to have different customizations. And, I mean...
When we get a BlizzCon, and you know how you get to ask the developers, that's probably gonna be my question. But, hey, dude, like...
And really, with all the seriousness of the more important aspects in the game, I don't think that should be on the top 10 list of anybody's priority list as far as development. Because that's, to me, I make it custom my own.
Okay, but but you just made the point, though. Everybody cares how they look in game.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying I wouldn't love it, because everything would be a various shade of purple. Just throwing that out there.
Transmog runs that go on that you're just saying that everybody goes and does. This is very important. If everybody sits there and say, "Hey, want more customization,"
those tier sets that everyone looks the freaking same running around as, they could be the same look, just different colors.
And that would be something cool to me if you say, "Hey, I got this, but it's just a different color." That, like the mage set, you have the 2 different versions, but I would like to see more. I agree with that statement. That was all I wanted to bring up. It just, I got a little deep there on the human thing. When I was doing my transmog, it just really hit me, and I realized how we are as humans just transfers over to an inanimate object and something that is a video game, really, and our need to look our Sunday best when we're stepping outside of our garrison. The struggle is real. So share your story with me. Comment on the video. comment on the Facebook, send me an email, share your story, talk about how you feel about transmogging. How do you feel about that? So I'm going to go ahead and move on.
Okay.
And it's time to talk about our weekend wow. Lycan, what did you do this week?
Okay, first of all, Dark, I'm very disappointed in you.
Oh, here it comes.
When she said, I don't look like $1 million every day, that was your opportunity to step in and says, oh, no, honey, you do. So I'm very disappointed you missed
He
out.
would have been lying, and I know he would have been lying. I mean,
Anyway, so.
It's like, I tried it. I got shut down too many times. Don't even care anymore.
I'm coming right now.
Was it last night?
I was like, wait, I don't hear anything.
So last night, I think it was. No, it was the night before. I'm running around. I'm doing my Harrison Jones quest. I'm up in Spires of Iraq.
Did you fall in a hole?
No, this
That's
is even
just
better.
Okay, gotcha.
And those who follow me on Twitter know this. So I'm going around and I'm looking for this one piece that I get to click on. You know, when you put your mouse over it, it turns into a hand, right? So I go to the coordinates I'm supposed to be at. I put my mouse over it. Oh, there's the hand. I go and click on it. It disappears. The hand disappears. There's nothing to click on anymore. Looking, can't turn in my quest or nothing like that. Next thing you know, it says I'm being joined for a solo instance. I said, okay. So I click on the solo instance. It pops up. I have the void mount that everybody's been looking for, that people are camping for hours and hours, and they're camping for this damn thing.
I'm sorry, did you not hear that?
I did not hear that.
Do you need me to turn it up?
Yeah, thank you.
Good, there you go.
Got two of them?
I'm pretty sure I said that at
Pick
chat.
up your ass and walk on your elbows.
So you just fell upon, you weren't even looking for it, it just, you stumbled into it doing the Harrison Jones quest line.
And there were two other people sitting right next to it.
No way.
And I just walked up, I right-clicked on it, got ported in, and there's the dead bird, and there's the egg.
Oh, that's awesome.
So what's probably sad is they were probably sitting there camping the damn thing, and had walked away from the computer, and I just walked up and I right-clicked on it.
And there's no NPC scan that'll tell you it's there, correct?
Nope.
Nice.
Doesn't tell you, it just sits there as like a purplish, like, mist that sits there, and when you put your mouse over it, if you have a little hand that shows up, you can click on it. So there I was. I got the void talent. I was so happy because it's one of those mounts. I'm sitting there going, I'm never gonna farm for this damn thing because I'm not gonna sit there and like NPC scan's great. I could be around the house and have it turned up real loud and do what I need. I'm never gonna farm for this damn thing.
I say that I'm not, but I'm probably going to venture out there just to kind of see what's what and see if maybe at like 3 a.m. I could get lucky with Portal. I know that we've had a few guildies this week actually get quite a few of the farmable mounts that are really, really hard to get. The Ravenlord, Celerana actually got, it's one of our guildmates and fellow RBG teammates.
She was riding around on it all day today.
They did, and
she's a show-off.
We heckled her. Whenever you're in our group and you tell us about one of your accomplishments or achievements, we heckle you. But when we heckle you, that means that we're really proud of you and we're really happy to say that we know you and all of those good things. But when we heckle you, that's just kind of the nature of the beast because that's just how we are.
If we're not, then you should be worried.
Right. If I'm just like, oh, super, then you mean I'm not paying attention to you whatsoever, really.
I bust out my Vrekel drinking horn, get real big, and then sit there and mount up on my new mounts and sit on top of everybody. And yeah, I get lots of comments. I did it last night in the raid. It was so much fun.
He's so rude. Hots, what did you do this week?
I've been gearing. Oh my god, I've been busting my butt. I leveled my rogue up to 100.
Blown off guildies so that he can't, do twos with him. I see how it is.
Yeah. In the time of me streaming, me gearing up, because how exciting that is doing freaking BGs. I wasn't streaming, unfortunately, but I did queue in with Bajira into an AV.
You weren't streaming and you were in with Bajira?
Vegas told me yesterday.
Was Vegas with you guys?
No.
He would have totally fanboyed if he was. That's funny.
I got called a fanboy because I wasn't freaking out about it, but this isn't the first time I've queued into like one of the WoW celebrities because I queued into Swifty into an arena. But I queued him with Bajira, and I was like, I've never done a battleground with one of these people. I wonder how this is gonna go. So running around, holy crap, dude! He had pocket heals for days. Every single person.
I'm Bajira, guess what? I got a pocket healer too. I'm just saying.
Right? I was like, all right, well, whatever, because I'm just gonna follow this dude around, and while my undergeared ass is just gonna collect fucking honor for days, because it's AV, and all he's gonna do is kill people, and all they're gonna do is fucking find him and die. Like,
that's awesome.
So I was like, oh, cool. Well, I popped in the stream and I was like, dude, thanks for all the honor, and then left.
It's a good thing that it was one of the ones I do like, because if it had been one I didn't like, I would have walked over there and been like, /spits.
If it was Swifty, I probably would have AFK'd and be like, no, fuck, they're losing that shit. Like,
/rude.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. But other than that,
that's pretty much it.
Yeah, twos with Dark, but I've been carrying.
That leads me to my next question. Dark, what did you do this week?
Choose not with Lycan.
I did mostly 2s with HOTS, which I never ran with a rogue, and Ret Rogue for 2s seems to be a really good comp, especially now that he has weapons. Big difference. Yeah, I think I somewhat impressed HOTS with my pally skills a few times there, as opposed to my mage in MOP. I wasn't a good
lay his
mage.
hands on you?
Do what?
Did he try to lay his hands on you?
Yes.
I
and
couldn't.
like, you can't use that here, and I'm like, I can't. Someone's watching out for me.
Believe me, I tried though. I tried. Yeah, that was pretty much it.
Well, this week I actually did get the opportunity to play a lot more WoW than I actually did last week. I did step back into raiding with the guild, which was lovely. Well, the raiding doesn't always go the way that we want it to, but the fact is we're doing it as a group. And I actually, Dominic, who was the co-raid lead with Lycan, took a break from WoW, so I did step into that position, which is kind of scary, but I did spend a few weeks prepping for it to make sure that I had the skills that the Guildmaster needs to possess to be able to help lead the team to glory, so to speak. So we did put together the spots for the Mythic team. We did get some new guild additions, which is kind of funny that here comes Hots for Shots, 2 writers for the Rogue, which incidentally is for PvP, so we're excited about that because everybody needs a Rogue. So we are excited about that, and I've been leveling my Mistweaver for PvP as well because monk heals are just amazing.
They're so annoying.
That's why it's amazing, because I
know.
want to be that guy. I want to be that guy that's like, hey, you, knock your shit off. So I want to be that guy. But I've been leveling. I should just boost, but really I'm cheap, so I'm going to just keep leveling. I'm leveling with a group of people. But the new guild additions, in addition to Hots for Shots bringing his rogue over, we do also have Weenie. And Weenie she is a fellow streamer on Hots for Shots with his Epiphany Gaming company that he works with. And we don't really talk much about Epiphany Gaming. The majority of the reason I don't talk about it is because their main focus is not World of Warcraft. So they do have a few of the streamers that do stream World of Warcraft stuff, such as Hots. I don't know if Weenie does any World of Warcraft streaming. I'm assuming she does. And I know that Kiona does some World of Warcraft streaming on occasion. If they start to get more serious about streaming World of Warcraft stuff, then of course it'll be a good place for you guys. But they stream all kinds of games over there. But she did join, which I thought was kind of interesting because she's pretty much on the hardcore PvP side, which is definitely not what the writers are. But we might be a little bit hardcore. We have a great team. We're going to be putting together a second team to run in tandem with different comps to find out what's more successful, to move people around so that we can really, really get down to the nitty-gritty and allow everybody to play. So it's been quite successful, and although we had kind of a rough night with RBGs, it was a real rough night in general for anything that I did in WoW. Really, it did not come easy. There was a fight. We went against 3 warlocks in RBGs last night, and they were all destruction, and I said to these guys, listen, you better be careful because these warlocks are going to kill you. And these warlocks were so in sync that they timed their chaos bolts to the orb carriers, which
Right
is
in the face.
amazing.
Yeah.
You just got 3 chaos bolts coming at you. It was amazing. Literally, that's kind of who you want to be when you're.
It's such an epic animation when all 3 of them hit you. You're like, oh fuck.
I'm gonna be a little weird right now and tell you that nothing brings me satisfaction like watching my chaos bolts literally fly across the screen. It's like an inner girl scream that happens every time I cast it.
You had some great chaos bolts in the
Fire and Brimstone, man.
in the flag run.
Oh yeah, those chaos bolts were on point, literally. No, the crappy part about the chaos bolts for Destruction Warlock, in case there's other Destruction Warlocks that are doing PvP, your fellow PvP buddies will steal your killing blow from you. Because while you spent the good time getting them knocked down in 2 chaos bolts, and they literally just need to tap on the shoulder to die, here comes one of your asshole PvP buddies that's like, oh, killing blow, and you're like, really? You stole my killing blow?
No, but you had some good ones to where I was bursting, and the flag carrier's almost dead. I'm the only one by him. I get stunned. And I'm like, no! All of a sudden, a big-ass chaos bolt flies by my head. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Boom.
That was
I'm one of
Rogue.
those asshole partners, though, that'll come over and watch, and I'll watch, and I'll see, oh, he's almost dead. I'll go, click, kill shot, and take off running.
I hate him every day.
Yeah.
They always steal my killing blows because they don't want me to have any glory.
Well,
but
me and Hots were competing for killing blows in arenas.
I think it's those kind of competitions are always fun. I know that when me, Dark, and our buddy Disco Priest, he was healing us. Me and Dark were definitely competing for killing blows, which he stole quite a few of mine, which kind of pissed me off. And so much so that I raged at him and was like, seriously, stop stealing my killing blows because it's not fair. And then they laughed about it, and it was all kind of funny. We had this match that I wanted to talk about with my weekend WoW. This match, I don't even know how long arenas last. It was literally the entire length of time of this arena, and there was over 10 million healing that was done in a 3v3 on our Disco Priest's part. I mean, the things that occurred during this were just epic. We won at the end of the day, but it was just their healer was on point, our healer was on point. It was just one of those matches where I had a blast. Like, it was a long match. It wasn't a boom, get in there and kill them. Like, you actually had to keep using your skill, and we would get very frustrated because we would have them almost killed, and then boom, they're bubbled. And I'm like, no, please don't bubble you.
It wasn't one of those long matches that once everyone's cooldowns were on, that there's that boring period of time where everyone's waiting. The whole time it was like, oh, I'm almost dead. Back up. Oh, one of their guys is almost dead. Boom. Then Belle's almost dead. Then she's back up. Like, literally every player in each team, we like took turns almost dying through this whole
and
damn
their
arena.
other team was their healer was a holy paladin, and I was getting pissed off because he was just pillar humping, and I was chasing this asshole around the pillar, and I'm like, seriously, do I have to keep chasing this guy? And Vegas is like, that's what you're supposed to do. I don't care. I literally chased this guy for like 5 minutes around the pillar. I'm not even joking you. Like, it was that bad where I literally chased him
I got to the point where I just chase him around a few times, and then I'll just counter chase, and it's like,
I
do that though. I'll run around like that, and then I'll sit there and go, what the fuck am I doing? I'm acting like an idiot, you know?
I definitely
I remember
don't use the pillars to my advantage as I should, and I do get yelled at quite a bit because I forget that the pillars are there in the sense of I tunnel vision and I'm so focused on killing you that I'm not paying attention to my defense.
In all honesty, you don't have a speed boost, so they're not as beneficial to you.
I mean, I can take Burning Rush. I can use that. It's one of my tier talents, but it takes away from something that I use. So
we're talking about line of sight here. Burning Rush takes away health. I would not go line of sight.
Yeah.
In addition to that, but Burning Rush, if used effectively, you actually won't lose any health at all. It's just a click kind of thing if you use it effectively. But I would never use that in PvP because that would be ridiculous. I'm slow as a Warlock. It just is.
Why am I dying? I'm like, there's no one around me. What the fuck?
What I try to do is I try to position myself in a fighting situation. On one of the sides where my portals are on, just to make sure that I can always get away. Or I'll go far out into the fight so that I can go back to where I need to be and hit them from a distance. Oftentimes, casters do get, in RBGs, casters kind of get ignored because we can stand on the outside when the team's fighting in mid to hold the flag or whatever the case may be. They won't even notice that I'm there, and I'm just, you're dead, you're dead, you're dead, you're dead, fuck you, you're dead, you're dead. And the whole team's dead in middle, and everybody's like, what happened? Well, nobody stopped me. I was over there just chaos bolting to death because nobody stopped the caster. So that's a good rule of thumb for the guys that do Battlegrounds and RBGs is always make sure you stop and take a look at the outside if you're taking damage and find out which caster. It's usually an elemental shaman, a mage, a shadow priest, or a warlock that's standing on the outside killing you, as it were. But so that was my week in WoW. We had a really, really good show. I think that's going to wrap it up for this week. We gave out a lot of information. We did miss Frieza this week, so Frieza will be back next week when he comes back from the wedding, unless he got married himself. I mean, this could have been...
What a twist!
I do have a quick little PvP advice for people struggling killing a certain class. And it's really quick. Level that class that you're having troubles with so you could understand the bursts, their cooldowns, pretty much everything about them. Once you do that, you'll be able to kill them. No matter what class it is. I had to do that with the Warriors and DKs, and now I could one-on-one both of them. I win probably about 90% of the time, and those are two of the most annoying classes to me. But I leveled a Warrior just to 20, and I understood how to beat him. So do your research on your weaknesses, and you'll be good to go.
Well, you've been leveling a Warlock now. Do you feel some of my struggle? I mean, the Warlock has a lot of glory, but
I do, but
now when you yell at me for certain things, I understand that it's my constraints.
No, I do understand that, but I also understand why you're Destro, because that Chaos Bolt is so damn fun.
Sexy. I can't even lie. I know everybody's Affliction, Demonology, and those are great. Those are great specs. Affliction's awesome. There's not a day goes by that I'm in an RPG that I don't wish that I was Affliction and I just could jump over that barrier within myself, because Affliction kills me. Literally, I will die to an Affliction before I'll die to a Warrior. But this is just I didn't choose Destro. Destro chose me. So that's just, we're just going to roll it. So on that really creepy note, we did have a great show. Thank you guys for joining us. We do appreciate it when you join us every week. We've been giving away Heroes of the Storm beta keys on the Facebook page, so make sure you stay tuned. We're getting those beta keys pretty much every other day. So if you need to get a hold of Lycan, you can get a hold of him at lycan@pomecast.net. You can get a hold of Hots for Shots at... He's got 20 different ways you can get a hold of him, and we talked about it before. Just go knock on his front door.
He's got Gmail, Hotmail, Yahoo. Like, he's got it.
He does have his own Facebook page. That's Hots for Shots. He Twitches, all that good fun stuff. Dark, you can get a hold of him at Pomecast, even though he's technically not an admin anymore.
I'm on Twitter now, too, at DarkNatoRet.
He doesn't even know how to use Twitter. He's just fronting right now.
Twitter's so boring.
He doesn't.
Except when I get random WoW followers, I was like, oh, cool, yeah. It's awesome. Like I don't even know you, but I'm adding you. Cool.
He doesn't.
Thanks for following, buddy.
I can't even deal with this guy right now. And you guys know how to get a hold of me. I'm pretty much all over Azeroth in any given moment. So you guys know where to find us. Thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you guys check out PomecastDailyQuest.com to get all the latest in Pomecast news information. We've got a lot. We're really getting those class guides out there for you guys. Really, really good ones, too. We just put up a priest one done by Flashy, which she did a really good job on it. Really, it's coming from your average player perspective, so it's really easy to read, easy to understand. Icy Veins is great, but sometimes it's great for a little bit of personalization and some people that are actually doing real-life stuff. So thank you, guys. We're going to go ahead and get out of here. We had a great show. Not too bad with the inappropriate speaking. I think it's because Fryza's not here. He pretends like we're the dirty-minded ones, but
it's him.
There's a stripper pole and a 5-mile radius. That guy knows where it's at. He just
yeah. He likes my land hands too.
That's so funny. We're gonna go ahead and get out of here. Dark, thank you so much for filling in for Fryza.
My pleasure.
We appreciate that, and we will be back next week. And I believe it's Huge Blokes Week next week, so we'll be back with him. But thank you guys so much for joining us. We're out of here.
Come back when you can't stay so long, Dark.
She's gonna come back when you can't stay so long? I use that.
I love how you guys do the Wayne's World.
I do it every